guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I have two more great single serving casserole recipes to share with you. Alright, if you're new here, hi, I'm Claire. Welcome, coming in. Make yourselves comfortable. I do a lot of single serving cooking over here on this channel, so if you are cooking for just you, or maybe you and one other person, maybe think about hitting subscribe because I think you will like what we're doing over here. This is actually my second single serving casserole recipe video. I will leave the first one down below. It was quite popular. You guys really like the casseroles, so I thought, okay, we gotta do more, right? However, one of the top comments I get all the time on that video still is about the casserole dish that I used. And I used, it was actually like a glass food storage container that I got at IKEA that happened to also be oven safe. Actually, I got it at the thrift store, but it was originally from IKEA. But I wanted to try some Amazon ones out just so that when you guys are asking me, like, what pan should I use? Where can I find a tiny casserole dish? I would have something to show you. So I ordered these. It came in a 2-pack. I will leave the exact link down below, but at least I can go over the volume and the measurements and whatnot. So if you're out and about and you're looking for something specific that will be good for this, you can keep this in your back pocket. They were $25 for the 2-pack. They are a 30-ounce capacity, but probably anywhere between 20 and 40 ounces would probably work for a single serving. And they are 9 by 5 inches. So if you're out and about, like a hand size is good enough. So hopefully this will clear up any of those questions about the casserole dishes. I have used them already and they work really well. I didn't want to recommend something that I hadn't tried. So here they are. I will link them down below. Now let's get started because our first recipe is going to be so delicious. I cannot wait to eat it. Would you classify it as a casserole? I'm not sure. We're making a cottage pie. One perfect cottage pie. One tiny cottage pie. It's gonna be so good. So let's get into it. All right, let's talk ingredients, and we're gonna start off a little controversial. Guys, I'm using ground turkey instead of ground beef. A traditional cottage pie uses ground beef, or a shepherd's pie, which uses ground lamb. I'm using ground turkey. Should it be called a cottage pie? Maybe not. Maybe there's a different name, okay? But I'm using turkey because it's what I have and it's what I prefer. Use whatever ground meat you want. Use lamb, use pork. Sausage would be delicious, okay? Use what you got. We're using ground turkey. We're gonna be only using 1/3 of a pound of that, so that's a good deal. As far as seasonings go, we're going to season that turkey with parsley and thyme and salt and pepper. Then we're gonna add a splash of Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of garlic. I know there's gonna be a lot of ingredients in this one. It's really just tiny amounts of things that are gonna add lots of flavor. To make it sort of gravy-y, we've got a little bit of flour, a little bit of tomato paste, okay? For our veggies, because convenience is king, we have some frozen mixed vegetables, and even another controversial choice here, the potatoes for the top are powdered potatoes because it's very easy to make a tiny serving of potatoes when they are powdered. So that is what we're using. So first thing we're gonna do is brown up the turkey and add our seasonings. Of course, I will leave all of this in the description down below with all the amounts I'm using so that you can reference it, write it down, I don't know, copy, paste it, print it out, do what you want. We're gonna start now. I am going to cook it in a little bit of olive oil, and it's because this turkey has like hardly any fat in it because I actually ground up this turkey myself. I ground it up from a very inexpensive post-Thanksgiving turkey. Because, of course, when it comes to saving money, I am always gonna do what it takes, you guys. And that sometimes means grinding up my own meat. If you want a video on that, leave me a comment down below and I will make one. Probably not till Thanksgiving time, so be sure you're subscribed. Okay, that's about 1/3 of that. And don't worry, you don't need to comment. I'm going to go wash my hands. Don't worry about it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add 1/2 teaspoon of thyme and 1/2 teaspoon of parsley. But you know, use whatever spices you like. You can make this spicy. You could add mushrooms. You could throw paprika in here. Do not let my choices limit your creativity. Put whatever you want in there, you guys. I'm also gonna go ahead and throw my salt and my pepper in there. All right, our meat looks good. I went ahead and turned down our heat a little bit. Now I'm gonna throw in a couple of shakes of Worcestershire sauce. I'm also gonna throw in, half a teaspoon, but plus some, a heaping half teaspoon, 3/4 of a teaspoon, if you will, of garlic. Now we're going to add tomato paste. I'm gonna do half a tablespoon. And also half a tablespoon of flour. It's almost like we're making a tomatoey roux out of that. And this will just like make it a bit gravy-y. Gravy-y? Gravy-ish? Gravy-like. It'll add the graviness to the vibe, okay? Because after this, we are going to add our vegetables and our water. All right, for our mixed veggies, I'm actually gonna do an entire cup. I'm really trying to eat more vegetables, and this is a good way to get a nice, healthy helping of veggies in your body. I'm also adding 1/4 cup of water. And as these veggies start to thaw and that water mixes in with the tomato paste and the flour, it is going to get a little bit saucy. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pour it into my dish. Oh my gosh, try not to make a mess. I always do a little bit though. If you watch me, you know. Okay, so in order to make 1 serving of the potatoes, it has all the proportions back here for 2 servings, so I just cut them in half. So for my potatoes that I've chosen, they're from Aldi. That means we're gonna use 1/3 cup of flakes. We're going to use half a tablespoon of butter. We're gonna use a dash of salt. We're gonna do 1/3 cup of boiling water. You can probably hear it. I've got the kettle on. And also a little bit of milk. It says 1/3 cup, so I'm just gonna use my 1/3 cup measurer, but I'm gonna eyeball half of it. So that's how we're gonna do it. But if you're using, whatever brand of powdered potatoes, the proportions are usually right on the back. Just try to, cut it in half or whatever you gotta do to make that 1 serving. But I will leave the proportions for this one down below for you. A little bit of butter. And we're just eyeballing that milk. Listen, I love an instant potato. Easiest side dish. I love a pantry friendly item. So now we're gonna put it on top. You gotta make it all texture-y looking. But I guess if you like a nice crust, it's all about adding those little ridges with your fork. All right, now it's time to bake this. My oven is set to 400 degrees. It's gonna take 15 to 20 minutes. It's not very big. And we really just want it to be like heated all the way through and that nice crust on the top. Everything in there is already cooked, so don't worry about it. You could also put this in your air fryer. You could also put this in a toaster oven. So if the oven is not your vibe, just for this one thing, totally use what you have. It's totally fine. I'm using my oven today. And I think I'm gonna do right in the middle, 17 minutes. Feels lucky. While that's cooking, I just started cleaning up and I thought I should show you what I'm doing. Previously, I have talked about how I hate opening cans for 1 serving and then not being able to use whatever's left in there, and especially tomato paste, because like very rarely are you using a ton of tomato paste, especially when you're cooking for 1 person. And several people said that I should freeze it, so I'm giving that a try today. So thanks everyone for giving me this great idea. Oh my goodness, look at this delightful, toasty little baby, okay? Oh my gosh. And like, could she be crispier? Yes, but I'm hungry, I wanna eat it. All right, you guys, it's time to taste our little baby cottage pie. Oh my gosh, it probably is still a little bit hot, but I just couldn't wait. As you see, very moist and saucy if you were doubting the graviness of what we were doing. It was fine, it's perfect, don't worry. There is nothing more comforting than just like an old-fashioned meat, vegetables, potatoes, gravy. Like, this kind of food really hits the spot for me. All right, it's time for our next casserole, and this morning I'm going to be making a French toast casserole. I'm putting a little twist on it. I am doing a bananas Foster French toast casserole, but if you don't like bananas, you could leave them out completely. Follow the recipe just without them and it will work fine. You could also substitute pears or peaches or walnuts and it would be really good as well. So keep in mind, we're always flexible over here. But it doesn't take very long to make, so let's get it in the oven because I'm hungry. The only prep work we're gonna need to do is to slice up a banana and to cube up 3 slices of bread. Mine is like pretty stale, which is why this is the perfect recipe for right now. You can also use crusts. I have a kid who doesn't eat crust, so if I make my own sort of like Uncrustables, I save the crusts and I make the like French toast casseroles out of it. So you could also use crust. Stale bread works great, or you know, if you just have a fresh loaf of bread, that works fine too. You're gonna need 3 slices. And there we go, prep work done. All right, now on my stove, I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. All right, so we're gonna wanna melt this just until it's combined. We're not gonna bring it to a boil or anything. We don't want our casserole to have like chewy candy-y caramel inside of it. We just want it to be combined. And now we're going to add our bananas, which of course is a great source of fiber to have in your breakfast. If you are eating this for breakfast, this also would be a good brunch option, or in my family, we eat breakfast at all times of the day. We do breakfast for dinner quite often, so just because this is technically like a breakfasty recipe does not mean you have to eat it for breakfast. I'm just gonna cook this for like an additional 2-ish minutes. I don't want the bananas to start breaking down and getting like super mushy, but I do want them to get nicely coated and for everything to combine. All right, these are nice and syrupy. Everything is delightfully coated. I'm gonna go ahead and take these off the heat and we're gonna get everything else ready. In a bowl, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of milk, which of course does have 4 grams of protein in it, which is great. And I'm gonna beat an egg in, which is like another 5 or 6 grams of protein. So if you were worried that this is all just sugar and junk food, there is fiber and protein in this recipe. We're also going to do a teaspoon of cinnamon. That might seem like a lot, but I really love cinnamon. We're also going to do a teaspoon of vanilla extract. All right, here is our casserole dish. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my bread in there. Next, I'm going to add my bananas with our caramely sauce. And I know it's not technically bananas Foster. I think that has like rum in it or something, but that's the vibe, okay? I'm just gonna give this like a delicate little mix, just so that that great sauce gets into our bread as well. And now we're going to take our egg and milk mixture and pour it all over the top. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to eat this. I feel like I say that every time I make anything. You guys are probably like, sick of me. Anyway, there we go. She's ready for the oven. I have my oven preheated to 425 and we're gonna bake this for like 15 to 20 minutes. Honestly, this size casserole dish, I feel like, I mean, I guess I haven't tried raw meat in it, but it's like everything takes about 15 to 20 minutes in there. And again, you could use an air fryer or a toaster oven if that's more your vibe. I think probably this would be good in a crock pot as well, if you had the extra time. Oh my gosh, look at that. I mean, really, you needed a close-up of this because come on, you guys. That looks so beautiful. All right, she's cooled down enough. I'm gonna eat it now. However, because I'm just a little bit extra, we're gonna add a little powdered sugar on the top. Oh, look how pretty that is. Oh my God, obsessed. Okay, again, this is a hefty portion. This is definitely like what you'd expect like a restaurant portion to be. This will be good for me, but you could also cut it in half, split it between you and your partner, or save half for later. Like if you paired it, you know, with a cup of coffee and a piece of fruit or something else that you like with your breakfast, you could stretch this if you needed to. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. Just to give you the close-up there. Perfection. It's just a little bit crispy on top, nice and soft inside. It's cinnamony. It's not too sweet, but those bananas really add some nice natural sweetness as well. All right, you guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed these 2 casseroles. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought, and be sure to subscribe because I will be making more. I love these little casserole pans. It's a total vibe. Again, I will leave a link to the exact ones I have down below, but feel free to thrift a great cheap one as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!